Hello and welcome back to the Half Sword Championship. It's been a while, so let me catch you up on the top 5 pound for pound rankings. At the moment, the Plancon Triplets are still the champions. In second is the Baron. Third place is the Dark Knights, they've gone down a bit since their last loss. In fourth, the Men-At-Arms, still struggling to get back to where they were. And in fifth is Louis the Knight. The first fight we've got for you today is the Bald Beast fighting Edward the Squire. Now the Bald Beast is on a 2-fight win streak. He's been doing great recently. He shines his head regularly to make sure he blinds the opponent, and he's been donating his winnings from previous fights to veterans. Just an all-around good guy. We love to see it. We're looking forward to seeing if he can continue his great win streak in today's fight. But on the other side, we have Edward the Squire. He was demoted recently by the Baron. You can see his armor is no longer as good as it was in the last fight. He had an incredibly embarrassing performance, and he reportedly said, "No more Mr. Nice Guy," which was very hard to hear. He is incredibly jealous that his fellow Squire, now Knight Louis, is in the top 5, and he is desperate to get up those rankings, to get his position back, get his armor back, and put one over on his Squire brother. Let's start the fight. Both sides come out. The Bald Beast obviously has that massive weak spot on his head. We'll see if Edward can take advantage of that. But the issue is the Bald Beast has incredibly good movement. We've seen that in previous fights. And he just has a way of catching the opponent. And with Edward having much worse armor this time around, it's going to be difficult for him to avoid the great slashing strikes of the Bald Beast. You can see some blood on the floor already. The Bald Beast is swinging, trying to find his distance. Obviously, Edward has a big distance advantage with the candlestick he's using. We'll see if he can even do enough damage with that to make it worth it. Looks like Edward's the one being backed up against the fence. The Bald Beast takes a hit to the face there. You can see his eye is bleeding, which looks incredibly cool, I have to say, but that's not a good start for him. It looks like he's stumbling a little bit, not too sure on his feet. He definitely took a big blow to the head there. He's going to have to find his range, find his movement. He's going to have to dash in and try and find his range, get in there, get a good slash in. He's got to find those unarmored parts on Edward the Squire. Edward clinches up in the close range. Edward is just swinging that candlestick down from overhead. Edward is taking his time here. He looks a lot more patient than in his last fight. That might pay off for him. We haven't seen the Bald Beast go into any long fights yet. Usually his fights are over pretty quick. We can see some blood come out there. I think the Bald Beast landed a good strike. Not enough to do any big damage to Edward the Squire though. The fight continues. They are circling each other. Both sides waiting for an opportunity, waiting for the opponent to slip up. So far both have been fighting quite well. Bald Beast really struggling to find his range here. He's just swinging and missing. Edward is doing a really good job at keeping him at range, swinging that candlestick non-stop. The Bald Beast rushes in close in half-sword grip. He doesn't seem to get any damage, a bit of blood comes out. Big swing and a miss there from the Bald Beast again. Now Edward the Squire comes rushing forward, grappling up in close range. That's a dangerous position to be in. Just a glancing blow as the candlestick comes down on that same wound that he had before. The Bald Beast now shedding more blood from that eye. His vision must be severely impaired by now. He's probably only able to see out of his other eye. That's not going to help him at all in finding his range here. He's really got to do some more. He's got to move in quick. The Bald Beast cannot keep this fight going long term. He is being ground down by Edward right now. If he wants to keep his win streak, he's got to get in there, and he's got to get the job done. He's trying desperately here. Oh, a good block there from Edward. Parrying the blow, you can see the blood is covering half of the face of the Bald Beast now. Still trying to find his range, a lot of misses here. I'm surprised he's struggling so much with this range. And a massive blow to the head, and the blood comes down on the other side of his face. His face is now almost entirely covered in blood, but he's still moving forward. It didn't seem to rock him that bad. Despite the blood, it is just flesh wounds and he seems to be okay. The weapons are tangled up, Edward releases it. The bald beast still striking at the air. He charges forward with an overhead slash, but nothing comes of it. It seems like Edward really is getting the advantage over the bald beast here. Bald beast has got to do something, but then again, all it takes is one good blow from the bald beast. One accurate slash and the fight's over. It's going to be hard with his vision this severely impaired by now. Still swinging at the air. The bald beast just cannot find his range. Edward is doing a great job backing up and keeping that jab going forward. You can see him jabbing with the candlestick. It looks like he's getting really comfortable with the weapon now. His last few fights, he's looked a bit amateurish with it. He's really been struggling, even pulling out a sidearm after losing it in the last one. Both sides swinging at nothing again. Now, I've got to say, this is not the most professional looking fight we've had in the Half Sword Championship. It now looks like Edward is kind of becoming the aggressor. A great slash there from the bald beast lands underneath the armpit of Edward the Squire, but it doesn't seem to do enough damage. Edward doesn't seem immobilized in any way from that. You can see blood on him, but it hasn't done enough to put him away. The bald beast has got to find a weaker spot. A great hit to the helmet of the Squire there. It doesn't seem to rock him though. Edward has really been training his conditioning, and another hit to the bald beast. Now he is wobbled. He's dropped his sword and I think he might be giving up. He's going to try and pick it up, I think, but Edward the Squire is just all over him. He doesn't give him the opportunity. Absolutely no chance. The bald beast is down and I think that's the fight over. Yes, he has given up. He just couldn't find a way through the defense of Edward the Squire. But anyway, a great performance from Edward. He's now performing his classic victory dance. And we go into our next fight. We have the Men-At-Arms versus the Halberdiers. This is a rematch between these two. The Men-At-Arms took it last time, but I do have to mention there is a disqualification on the Men-At-Arms side. You see, one of their fighters was seen on our security cams last fight fighting against the Pointy Blinders cousins, the Macy Smashers. And this is completely not allowed. The Macy Smashers were here in attendance watching, and that Man-At-Arms just attacked them out of nowhere. But anyway, we've got these two, as the other one's been disqualified, and they're struggling to regain their form, and losing their third man isn't going to help them today. But as I said, they beat the Halberdiers last time. But these Halberdiers, they've been training. They really want to get back into the top 5, and they hate, and I mean hate, the Men-At-Arms. They're really seeing this as a grudge match, as a passion match. They're desperate to get their own back on them. And they actually told me that they weren't happy that the third Man-At-Arms is gone because they wanted to beat them at full force. But let's see what happens. This is a big polearm matchup, so there's a lot of ranged fighting, a lot of poking, but the Men-At-Arms seem to be rushing in close. One of the Man-At-Arms in the back might have been hit there. He looks like he's wobbling a little bit. And this one closest to us, he's dropped his polearm. He is now using a sword, which, to be honest, might be a very smart move from him. I think that's going to give him a massive advantage if he can get past the halberds. But you have to remember, the Men-At-Arms are turtled up like tanks. They have so much armor. It's going to take a lot or a really, really accurate strike to get one of them down, and one of the arms of the Halberdiers just comes straight off. You can see there on the live replay, he just slips it underneath and pulls up and the arm is gone. And he is still attacking him, even though he's clearly out of the fight. It is now a 2-on-2. The Man-At-Arms goes back in just to put him down. That is brutal. I think he might have taken his other arm as well. No, it's fine. Okay. Gonna have to have a talking to after that. I mean, the Men-At-Arms, they're really on thin ice here. Their behavior has just consistently been awful. But the Man-At-Arms, he does it again! Is that another dismemberment of the arm? The 2 times in a row, he's done that to 2 Halberdiers now. That is insane. This Man-At-Arms clearly isn't playing around in the last halberdier in the corner. I don't think he has a chance, to be honest. This one Man-At-Arms is on an absolute rampage. You can see him charging in here. And the halberd is dropped. He pulls out his falchion. I don't know if that's going to be enough, though. There's two Man-At-Arms here. Neither of them have taken much damage. Neither of them have dropped. And this Man-At-Arms with the sword is on an absolute bloodlust. I don't think anyone could stop him. He gets in close. It's hard to see what's happening right now. The halberdier manages to circle out of that attack. But I fear it is only a matter of time. He needs an absolute miracle to be able to take out these two. Man-At-Arms charging in close again, not letting up the pressure. Just relentless strikes from the Men-At-Arms here, and he gets in real close clinches. And I think he's taken the arm again. He did it to all three of them. 3 in a row where the arm is just absolutely removed from the shoulder. Unbelievable. A great performance from the Men-At-Arms, I guess. And we go into our next fight. We've got the Swordsmen versus the Sipper of Petrol. Now, like the Bald Beast, the Sipper of Petrol is a member add-in. This is a member who has created this fighter, and we always love to see it. He is unbelievably high on petrol, as he is every fight, and I do have to mention, do not attempt to drink petrol. I don't even know if it gets you high or what it does to you, but this Sipper of Petrol, he put down his petrol to be here. We don't allow it inside the grounds. And here we have the Swordsmen. They wanted to announce they've been taking on new students at their Swordmaster school, so feel free to check that out. They have no idea what petrol is, or what it means. Let's see if the Sipper of Petrol can show them exactly what it means here today. Now, this is going to be a tough fight for him. 3-on-1 is never good, and with the range, if the Swordsmen get in close, the Sipper of Petrol can't do much, and he takes a slash to the back already. That's what he has to be careful of. These guys will circle around you. They will make it difficult for you to get a strike in, and when you're not looking, one of them will get you from behind. And he takes another strike to the shoulder, but he takes a leg off one of the swordsmen. That is exactly what you have to do, but he has dropped his halberd. He's pulled out the falchion, and he's got one of them on either side. It's incredibly difficult. He took the hit to the head, and I think he is down. Absolutely rocked him for 6. I don't think he's going to be getting up from that one. It looks like he's slowly worming his way backwards. And I think that's a win for the swordsman. Into the next fight, we have the Dark Knights versus Louis the Knight. This is a knight-on-knight fight, and Louis the Knight, he has been marching his way up the rankings. He has fought some incredibly tough opponents, and he's managed to come out on top every time. And the Dark Knights, they've been struggling recently. They haven't had great performances, but they're looking to get back into things. They're looking to prove the doubters wrong. People think they're washed. They are desperately shouting from the hilltops. We had a little bit of bad form, but we're back, and we're ready to take our belt back again. And on the other side, here is Louis the Knight. He is incredibly disrespectful. He has 2 squires with him. That's not allowed. I'm going to have a chat with him about this. You can't. This is a fight between you. Ow! Jesus! He's a fantastic fighter. Is Louis and the squires fighting? He's, let's just get into the fight. Louis comes out charging, gets in close on the Dark Knights. One of the Dark Knights is distracted by one of the squires, but Louis the Knight, he's taking this one on his own. He's got one of his squires standing back a bit. But the Dark Knights, they're incredibly hard to damage. And I don't think the swordsmen have much of a chance at all of finding a weak spot or a gap in their armor. But let's see how it goes. The Dark Knight over there should put away the squire very quickly. I'd be very surprised if that squire can hold on for long enough. The Dark Knight's keeping them at bay. You can see Louis is using the 2-handed mace here. He decided to use this, he chose it himself, as he thought it would be a great tool against the heavy armor of the Dark Knights. Let's see if he can do enough blunt force trauma to put them down. Now, this Dark Knight closest to us, it looks like he's struggling quite a bit with that squire. I'm really surprised. I thought he would put him away very fast. Louis getting pushed up against the fence there. Both Dark Knights seem to be struggling a bit, and he's wobbled. The Dark Knight on the right got wobbled by Louis there. He takes another massive strike to the head, and now Louis is just charging him down, getting him real close, pushing him up against the fence. And the other Dark Knight still hasn't dealt with that Squire. He needs to do it as fast as possible so he can come out and help his brother. It looks like one of the Squires got distracted by the fence there for a second. Looks like we've swapped opponents a little bit. The other Dark Knight is now fighting one of the Squires, whilst the one that was struggling is against Louis. And again, we've swapped over. One of the Dark Knights fighting both Squires. Again, he should be able to put them down quickly. There's no reason he shouldn't. He just needs to get in closer. Looks like he's trying to attack him from a range, which is really a bad idea. And Louis is just walking the other Dark Knight into the corner. He backs him up against the fence. The Dark Knight does a quick turn there. They're grappling heavily. And it looks like he might have landed a strike on Louis, and Louis goes down, I think. No, he gets back up. The Dark Knight lands a great strike between the gap in Louis' armor, but he just gets right back up. He is not giving up that easy. And he goes down again. Surely that's it for Louis. He gets up again. After being knocked down twice, he is still fighting. That kind of endurance you don't see too often. The amount of pain he must be in right now is unbelievable. Takes a strike from the back. The Dark Knight is desperately on him. He smells blood and he is trying to put him away. I just can't believe both of the Squires are still standing. I can't see where one of them has gone. It looks like he's having a chat with the fence there. Louis seems to have recovered for the most part, but it looks like he's stumbling a bit. One of his legs or feet may be damaged, and he goes down again. He is dropped once more, and the Dark Knight thinks he's done, but he gets back up. The Dark Knight walks off as if he is finished, but he is not. And that Dark Knight has gone off to fight the other Squire. I cannot believe Louis is still getting up from this. He can barely stand. He has taken so many strikes to the head, to legs, and body. He was literally holding onto the Dark Knight to stay up there. Louis almost pushing the Squire out the way so he can get in. The fact these Squires are still standing is a miracle unto itself. They're desperately trying to get in. The Dark Knight kicks away the Squire and goes in on Louis. Not a bad idea, but it would be better just to put them down, and the Squire that he kicked away comes in from behind and finds a gap on the arm. That's unbelievable, and the Dark Knight goes down from that strike. I can't believe it. We're gonna have to reset them here. And now it is just one Dark Knight versus two Squires and Louis. From the jaws of defeat, Louis might be scratching, crawling this back. This Dark Knight has a lot of work cut out for him. If they couldn't take out one of the Squires before, it's going to be incredibly difficult now. And Louis is of course still damaged, but he's moving forward. He has not taken one step back in this fight. You can see the blood oozing out of one of the Squires there. I don't know if they were drugged before going into this. They are covered in blood. They must be in a world of pain, but they're still fighting. Dark Knight struggling to get through on Louis here. Just the relentless pressure has been overwhelming for the Dark Knights. They might be old fighters now, but they still have the stamina of the best of them. It's surprising to see them get so overwhelmed so easily. The Dark Knight desperately kicking, striking, trying to keep them at bay, but they are just all over him. Like rats swarming. Louis takes another couple of strikes there, but again, he almost drops to his knees but manages to stay up. It looks like he's leveraging his weight onto the Dark Knight to make sure he can still stand. Dark Knight backing up. He's got to find something here. He really has to dig deep. He takes a strike to the head there. Looks like he was wobbled for a second. Louis and the Dark Knight getting in real close here. have a feeling there's going to be a lot of vitriol after this fight. There's going to be a lot of hatred, and Louis goes down again, and the Dark Knight again starts walking off, but he gets back up. If the Dark Knight had just stayed on him, he manages to put one of the Squires down and the other one is missing. But if he had just stayed on top of Louis when he went down, and it looks like Louis is using his out of the fight Squire as a meat shield. Looks like he's recovered now after using his teammate as a meat shield. No one ever said he was a good guy, I guess. Takes another strike to the head there. Louis is all over the place, but he just keeps standing. And the Dark Knight now using this Squire as a meat shield. Going back and forth. If I was this guy, I would get way out of there. At this rate, he's gonna take some extra hits. And he does take a hit to the head. Poor guy, we've got to get some guys in there to take him out. This can't keep happening. He's gonna take too much damage soon. These two are grappling back and forth. Good strikes. I can't imagine, with the force of that mace, how many bones are broken on the Dark Knight's body right now. But still, these two keep fighting. Despite the amount of damage they've taken, they just keep moving forward, keep fighting. Neither wants to give up. Both are desperate to get this win. Both think that they need this win. I think whoever takes a loss here is really going to struggle. And there is the other swordsman. I don't know what he was doing all that time. And just like that, as he gets distracted with the other Squire, the Dark Knight takes a massive strike and he is out of this fight. Despite all odds, Louis has won. And now we are in the championship match. We have the Plancon Triplets versus the Baron. The Baron, who has the greatest record inside the Half-Sword Championship, versus the champions, the Plancon Triplets, who actually have a negative win record. And the Plancon Triplets, they want to thank the fans for their support. They fought incredibly well versus the Dark Knights. They think that they can overwhelm the Baron with their numbers. And I mean, they have been fighting incredibly well recently. They've had a great run of fights. They've really picked up. I don't know what happened. They just flipped their form and started doing incredibly. And here we have the Baron, the man himself, and he thinks it is time for him to finally retake his belt. His arch nemesis, the Dark Knights or the Men-At-Arms, have both been in really bad form recently. So he thinks that he can take this belt now from the Plancon Triplets and start a longer reign. We'll see if that comes through for him. Both sides come out. Now the Baron, all he has to do is land some good strikes against the mostly unarmored Plancon Triplets, but he's taken a massive hit there already. A hit to the side and he is stumbling around. He's not standing properly, he's not holding his guard, and another strike puts him down. That is incredible. It was a great combination. One to the side, two to the head that wobbles him. And then he comes in again, the Plancon Triplet, and lands just one, almost a light blow, and the Baron just goes down. And that's it. The fight's over. The Baron has been defeated in a record time. That might be the fastest loss in Half-Sword Championship history. Incredible performance from the Plancon Triplets, who just keep on winning. Thank you guys for watching. A massive shout out to the channel members, Ball & Colin, Toru and Schlub, for their support. And I'll see you guys in the next one. Bye bye.